My beloved child, tonight I see you bow your head in silence, not in prayer but in fear. You call it prudence, yet your heart is quietly building a lovely prison named safety. While you busy yourself persuading your own soul that all is well, I am standing at the far end of the road waiting for you to step out from the disguise of fear so I may open the gate I have prepared. On the night before Abraham offered Isaac, he did not sleep. He did not wail, nor ask why. He bound the wood, prepared the fire, and set out in silence. On Mount Moriah, when the knife was raised, I did not only halt his hand, I opened his eyes to see a ram caught by its horns in the thicket. It was not a blazing wonder, merely a simple exchange, yet it was enough to alter the course of a lineage. There are times you say, I'm considering, I'm praying more, when in truth you are delaying. You fear risk, hurt the doubtful gaze of others. You wrap fear in the shell of caution, so it looks like wisdom. But what I see is not wisdom, it is a barricade. Wisdom is born of faith, fear is born of doubt. When you accept risk for my sake, you do not lose safety. You are being led into the country of miracles. You say you want to hear more input, yet how often do you use that to avoid hearing me? You ask 10 people, but not the one who planted the dream in your heart. You postpone waiting for a clearer sign, though I have long been at the door. Sometimes consultation is disobedience wrapped in politeness, and with every minute of hesitation, the heat of your faith cools. At night, you let old images, comparisons, and regrets drift into your mind like poisonous smoke. Your eyes are shut, but your soul tosses in a fog of unrest. You do not know that the seeds of tomorrow are sown in those very moments. When you end a day in the sin of comparison, you are constructing a morning without light. Let your mind fold into gratitude, for only then can dawn begin with life. You often strain to prove you are good enough, strong enough, believing enough, but you forget that faith is not a weight to carry, it is a hand to hold. You shoulder what I never laid upon you, the burdens of others, the gaze of the crowd, the approval of the many. You collapse not because I bent your knees, but because you carried the wrong load. When you let it go, you do not become weaker. You simply return to me what has always been mine. I see you sitting there, eyes far away, as if you were weighing options. You say you are waiting for the right time, that you are not ready to move. But I know that beneath those reassurances lies a small tremor hiding in your chest. You call it caution, but I call it the fine garment fear wears to look like wisdom. That kind of wisdom does not lead you into peace. It merely lengthens sleepless nights in which you try to persuade yourself that your silence counts as faith. True faith, my child, never stands still. I have seen many like this, souls who think they are keeping themselves from falling, yet are slowly dying within the borders of safety. Like the servant in the parable, when I placed a single talent in his hand, he did not squander it or cheat anyone. He was simply afraid. Afraid of loss, he buried what I gave, thinking that by hiding it, he would keep it. But when I returned, he had nothing left but the hollow comfort of excessive caution. I did not grieve over failure. I grieved over his refusal to trust. Faith does not demand a perfect outcome, only a genuine step. Know this: at times, I allow you to taste unease, not to frighten you, but to show you what you are leaning upon. If your wisdom is framed by fear, the faintest breeze will bring the whole house down. But if your faith is rooted deep in me, then when the storm rises, you will still stand. Remember, nothing is more fragile than a soul that tries to be strong without me. You may wonder, if you are with me, why am I still afraid? I tell you, fear does not vanish because I arrive. It is transformed. It becomes reverence, the kind that trembles, yet walks forward. That fear does not pull you back. It presses you toward me. Understand this: true wisdom is not the avoidance of the unknown, but the trust that in the unknown I hold all things. You need not understand everything. Only walk in the small circle of light I give, and as you move I will widen it. Long ago Jonah was afraid. He feared my word and the road to Nineveh, and so he ran. He thought himself wise to avoid a perilous commission. But in the belly of the fish, in the stench and darkness, he learned wisdom is not escaping the trial, but finding me within it. He prayed from the deepest place, and I heard. Only when he turned back to the path he had feared did the miracle begin. Do you see? True wisdom is not in calculation, but in surrender to my will. Child, I do not reproach you for feeling afraid. I only grieve when you let fear steer you instead of letting me lead. You think that if you step out you will lose control, but it is precisely when you step out that I have room to work wonders. Like a child letting go of a father's hand to learn to walk, you will fall, but you will learn. If you cling to the chair, you will never know your legs were made to stand. So when your heart races, your hands shake, your thoughts tangle, do not fear that. Know that I am calling you out of safety into the region of faith. I know the world has taught you to be shrewd, to calculate, to guarantee safety. But I say there are paths that open only when you have nothing left to lean on. When you stop asking what if it fails and start asking what if I am in this, you will feel fear melt. True faith always asks for a small death, the death of your compulsion to control, of your overanalyzing mind, of your suspicious heart. And in that death, you will truly live. One day I will set you before two roads, one familiar and smooth, the other strange and rough. You will want the old one because it feels safe. But I will whisper, do you want to see me on the other side? In that moment I will weigh your faith not by your prayers but by your steps. And only as you go will you understand that I never asked you to gamble. I asked you to know that true wisdom never makes its home in fear. As this dawns on you, fear will not disappear at once. It will be peeled away layer by layer until you recognize that what you called wisdom was a chain of gold, glittering, elegant, reasonable, and still a chain. Let me unfasten it. Let your faith return to the simple, childlike, holy boldness of beginnings. Only then will you be truly free. When that freedom floods in, you will see that the dreadful thing is not failure, but being called and never answering. You will see that the wisdom you once prized is only smoke before the wind, and that faith, the small thing you once scorned, is the only foundation that holds your soul in the night. Let this be the night you stop pretending to be strong, stop pretending to be wise. Let your real fear meet me, and I will turn it into quiet courage. Then I will ask nothing grand of you. Only this dare to say, though I am afraid, I still believe. In that very moment, you will be stepping out of the shell of counterfeit wisdom and moving closer to the door of true faith. And when you touch that door, I will open it, and beyond it there will be light. There are times I hear you say, I'll ask around. I want to hear what people think. At first it sounds humble, careful, but then I see you are not asking to find my will. You are asking to find the world's agreement. You fear being alone in your belief, fear being called reckless, fear being wrong without a chorus of nods. So you ask 10, hear 100, gather 1,000 fears, and forget the one thing worth hearing, my still small voice within. You are chasing certainty while drifting from its source. I do not despise your seeking counsel, but I grieve when you measure my will by other voices. The world loves safety. I often work in the high winds. The world wants you praised. I want you purified. The world says wait for the right moment. I say the moment is when you obey. You choose the words that soothe rather than the words that grow you. You think yourself wise, but you are using delay to legitimize your fear. And every time you say, let me think a little longer, public opinion rubs a little more of the shine off your faith. Once King Saul was like this. I told him to wait for Samuel to offer the sacrifice, but he could not endure the people's eyes on him. The crowd grew restless. He feared losing face and followers. So he did what seemed harmless. He offered it himself, a small act that cost him favor. Saul did not intend betrayal. He simply could not bear the silence. He needed applause more than my gaze. That hunger for acceptance strangled the faith that should have stood steady in loneliness. Do you see, people will trade truth for the comfort of approval. I know you are tired of deciding alone. True faith can feel lonely, but that loneliness is the altar where faith is offered. When no one understands you and no one supports you, yet you still choose to hear me. That is when you enter the deepest fellowship. You will not find my voice in the crowd. It does not quarrel or shout. It sounds in the quiet where you are willing to sit, be misunderstood, and go without applause. When you dare to stand within that silence, you will learn that solitude is not a sentence, it is an invitation. Do not be mistaken, you are not hesitating because the path is unclear. You hesitate because you do not yet trust that I am on that path. You fear losing reputation, opportunity, the favor of others. Yet only when you risk loss can I add what you truly need. I am not asking you for flawless decisions. I am asking you to be honest with your faith. If you wait until everyone agrees before you move, you will never move, for my way is almost always against the current. Faith is not waiting for consensus. It is the courage to go before others understand. Some counsel sounds entirely reasonable, yet murders the childlike simplicity of the soul. They tell you wait for a clearer sign, run the numbers more carefully, collect more opinions. But listen, I do not always send signs. Sometimes the only sign is the inward stirring I myself have planted. And if you do not act while your heart is warm, that fire will cool, smothered by the world's cleverness. When you let too many voices crowd in, mine will be drowned out, not because I am silent, but because you have left me no room to speak. Look at Abraham. He did not seek anyone's counsel before leaving Ur. No one understood him, no one agreed with him, yet he went. There was no map, only a promise. There was no itinerary, only, I will show you as you go. Do you see? True faith moves before consensus, and the promise is fulfilled because of it. But if you keep asking the world for permission, you will circle safely in familiar loops and never behold your own Canaan. I know you fear being wrong, but hear me. To be wrong because you trusted me is still holier than to be right because you echoed the crowd. For in what the world calls wrong, I can teach you, shape you, and begin again with you. Yet in what the world calls right without me, you may travel the correct road to the wrong destination. Do not fear deciding alone, for in truth you have never been alone. Each time you pause to listen, I am there waiting for you to ask me before you ask another. When you begin to do this, you will discover a new freedom. Not freedom from responsibility, but freedom from fear. You will no longer need approval to take a step because you know you are moving within my hand. The fewer the voices outside, the clearer the voice of the Holy Spirit within. Then the counsel of others will still be precious, but no longer a chain, only a gentle wind helping you go farther. I long for you to learn this, not to set you against anyone, but to make you honest with your calling. For I know there are things I whisper only to you, and if you do not dare to trust them, they will die in silence. Stop searching for consensus. Start seeking obedience. Stop fearing loneliness, for in that very solitude you will find me smiling. My child, delay no more. Each time you wait for another's confirmation, your faith weakens a little. Each time you say, let me consider further, the door I opened swings partly shut. Step, if only a single step, and you will see I walk with you. I have never summoned anyone only to abandon them midway. And when you step, when you dare to decide in faith instead of hunting for applause, you will feel something strange. Suddenly everything is quiet, yet your heart is at peace. Peace does not flow from compliments, it flows from presence. Then you will learn that true faith does not need the roar of applause, only a whisper from me, child, go on, I am here. Night falls, the city grows still, and I behold the wakeful souls, yours among them, not for work, not for illness, but for those small, stubborn thoughts dripping like water on stone. You lie there, the glow of your phone whitening a tired face. Outside calm, inside a rising storm. I see every measuring comparison, every self-reproach, every old image looping like a ghost. You say I'm just thinking a little, but I know that very little is sowing the gloom of tomorrow. For you do not realize that night is not only for the body's rest, it is the hour when the soul is set in its course. Child, when a day closes, your mind is like soft soil. Whatever seed is planted will sprout into tomorrow's thoughts. Sow regret, and tomorrow will taste of weariness. Sow comparison, and tomorrow will breed envy. Sow thanksgiving, and tomorrow will be peace. Yet you often let the enemy arrive first, sowing toxic seeds you mistake for reflection. It is not loud, it only whispers. You're not enough. Others are better, if only. While you think you are analyzing, I see you condemning yourself. Your soul grows heavy, so heavy that even prayer is hard to lift. Long ago, King David knew this weight. After his sin with Bathsheba, nights haunted him. He neither ate nor slept nor sang. The kingdom still praised its hero, but within him the only sound was accusation. Then he wrote, "Create in me a clean heart, O God." Only then could I reach him. For only when you cease to scourge yourself do you give me room to heal you. Do you see, I do not ask you to forget your fault. I ask you to stop bathing in it. You cannot be washed while clenching the stain in your fist. I know there are nights when you only want to vent. You curl up inside streams of posts and pictures that seem harmless. You say, I'm just scrolling to fill the emptiness. But in that very hour, you open the door of your mind to 1,000 little arrows, the comparisons, the regrets, the quiet resentments, all slipping through bright frames that have no soul. The world is teaching you a deadly form of rest. Consume more to forget more, look longer to think less. But the more you try to forget, the more your soul remembers. And in those just for fun hours, peace thins out of you like the breath of one drifting towards sleep without rest. You ask me, why am I tired when I've done nothing? I answer, because you set your mind to labor all night in conversations no one hears. You argue with old memories, with images you despise, with faces you have not forgiven. You are not sleeping. You are holding court against yourself. You are judge, jury, and executioner. Morning comes. The body is weak and the soul has no room left for faith. You live as if I do not exist, and with each night you bolt the door of your heart a little more. Yet still I knock. Each night I wait outside that door, asking to come in, not to scold, but to clear. To remove the leftover poison, the petty comparisons, the unspoken, if onlys, the glances that make you feel small. I do not ask you to be strong at once. I ask you to breathe honestly and say, Lord, I am weary. In that moment I begin to heal. For peace does not come when you force yourself to forget, but when you dare to lay your pain bare before me. Do not think I do not know your tangles. I see every time you pull the blanket over your head, each swallowed sigh, each half prayer. I see the journal lines you delete for fear others might read them. But child, if you keep erasing, you erase the chance for me to write anew. I do not require perfection at bedtime. I ask you to end the day with surrender. Only a small sentence, into your hands I commit my spirit. That single line can change your night and your morning. You often say, I'll start fresh tomorrow. But you do not know that tomorrow is only the sequel to tonight. If the night is toxic, the morning cannot be clear. As with a tainted spring, every cup you pour is clouded. So do not wait for peace to arrive after sleep, sow it before you close your eyes. One word of thanks, one grateful breath, one slow act of forgiveness. Such small things are the soul's antidote. Once after victory, on Mount Carmel, the prophet Elijah fell into despair. He hid in a cave and asked me to let him die, not because he had lost faith, but because his mind was exhausted. All night he was surrounded by the voice. You are alone, no one understands you. But I came not in the windstorm, not in the earthquake, but in a gentle whisper. I fed him bread, gave him water, and said, "Get up and go." Do you see, I save the soul not only by great wonders, but by small tenderness. I know that sometimes what you need is not an answer, but the breath of peace before the dawn. And when you learn to close the day with that peace, I promise your faith will be different. Morning will no longer feel like a battlefield's beginning, but the continuation of your healing. You will not fear the voices in your head because you will know which one is mine. You will discover that peace is not in circumstance, but in the rhythm of a heart entrusted to me each night. You may ask, how can I stop when my mind refuses to be still? Let me answer with my own silence. Not silence because I do not hear, but because I am sitting beside you, listening with you. When you stop speaking, I begin. When you cease to wrestle the current, I can change its course. Do not force yourself to be at peace. Simply abide in me, and peace will find you. Beloved child, do not end your day in darkness. Each night is an invitation to return and hand me everything that weighs you down. Do not cling to the past. Do not clutch your failures. Do not cradle empty comparisons. I do not need you to come to me looking good. I need you to come in truth. And truth is often tired and tangled, but that is precisely where I dwell. When you begin to do this, you will witness a strange mercy. The next morning, what once frightened you will lose its teeth. The person who stirred your envy will stir your compassion. The task that burdened you will become a lesson, not because the world has changed, but because you have learned to sleep in my arms. Remember this, the evil one does not tempt only in daylight, he poisons the night. He need not make you fall, he only needs to make you sleep in worry. Begin a day already exhausted, and you have lost before the battle starts. Do not let this repeat. Each night, let me be the last one you speak with. No ornate words, only truth. For that truth is the light that drives away the dark. And then when you learn to end the day with trust, you will find the night is no longer an enemy but a doorway for me to enter. You will stop fearing the quiet hours, for you will know you are no longer alone. Peace will not come from sleep, but from the one to whom you yield your heart before you sleep. Child, if you can try this tonight, set the phone down, close your eyes, and say to me, Lord, I entrust this night to you. Then let everything fall. Do not fight, do not cling. I will be there cleansing every hidden corner of your soul, so that when morning breaks, you rise not only light, but bright enough to illumine the path for others. There are mornings when I see you rise, and before a prayer can form, your back is already bent beneath burdens no one asked you to bear. I do not see the cross I entrusted to you. I see an entire mountain you have hoisted onto your own shoulders. You carry human opinions, you carry glances, you carry responsibilities that are not yours, and then you wonder why peace keeps slipping away. You think you are being faithful, but in truth you are exhausting yourself in self-justification. You call it effort. I call it the weariness born of gentle pride. For at times what draws you away from me is not notorious sin, but goodness misplaced. I know that deep down you never wanted to do wrong. You only wanted to do better, to keep from disappointing me, to have everyone see you as worthy. But my child, I have never needed you to prove any of that. My love is not measured by productivity, not counted by results, and it is not withdrawn when you are weak. You are not the one replacing me to save the world. I only called you to collaborate on the small portion I entrusted to you. What I have assigned is yours. What I have not spoken, do not claim. When you shoulder too much, I am not glorified. I only see a child turning worship into a competition. Long ago, Moses carried a burden I had not given him. When the people complained, he took it all into himself and thought he had to be responsible for everything. He cried out, I cannot carry all these people by myself. The burden is too heavy for me. And I said, choose 70 men, and I will place the same spirit upon them. Do you see, I did not require him to become stronger. I taught him to lay some of it down. For true strength is not in how much you can accomplish, but in knowing who is working with you. My child, there are times I see you praying with tears, and I do not answer at once, not because I am cold, but because I want you to see that what is exhausting you is not the trial itself, but your attempt to hold on to what I never asked you to keep. You strive to fulfill the role of the good one, the strong one, the one who lets no one down. Yet while you are busy bearing the world, you forget to carry what I gave you trust. You chase outcomes, but I am only waiting for surrender. There was a time I gave you a small task only so you would learn to trust. But you wanted to turn it into something flawless and radiant. You made plans, you strained yourself, you revised until you were spent. When things did not align with your hopes, you blamed yourself for lacking faith. But you did not understand faith is not making something better. Faith is knowing that even when it is not perfect, I am present. You thought you were serving me, but you were serving the image of yourself you wanted others to see. And that image became the idol you worshipped in my place. I remember when you prayed, Lord, use me more, and I did. Yet you stiffened like a soldier who scarcely dares to breathe, afraid to be wrong, afraid to be slow, afraid to be unworthy. You imagined obedience meant working to the very end of your strength, but you did not know that true obedience also knows when to stop. You cannot hear my voice if your ears are filled with the sound of your own breathless striving. Faithfulness is not in the volume of work, but in the peace of doing it with me. If you keep moving without pause, you will lose your bearings, and I never want you to run faster than my calling. There was a woman named Martha who lived this way. When I came to visit, she bustled about preparing every dish and folding every cloth, while Mary simply sat at my feet and listened. Martha protested, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? And I said, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things. Mary has chosen the better portion. Do you see, I do not despise service. I grieve when service turns into a burden. For what I seek is not a perfect meal, but a heart that knows how to rest. I want you to understand, to work for me, without me, is like pouring water into a cracked vessel. The more you do, the more you lose. The harder you try, the drier you become. And then one day you look back and find no drop left to offer. You start to accuse me of silence, but in truth I am waiting for you to let go. Letting go is not giving up. It is returning me to my rightful place, so I carry what is mine, and you carry what is yours. Some burdens you carry seem noble, yet they are only the fear of being left behind. You are afraid that if you do not carry them, others will forget you. Afraid that if you rest, someone else will outpace you. Afraid that if you stop, your worth will vanish. But my child, you were not born to race. You were born to walk together. Each time you fear being forgotten, you doubt that I remember enough. Each time you strive to make it happen, you forget that I am at work even when you are still. I see that sometimes you dare not rest because you fear others will think you are weak. Yet I say to you, rest is not weakness, it is faith. Only one who truly trusts me dares to still their hands without fearing the world will collapse. It is when you lie down that I begin to work. When you cease speaking that I begin to declare. Peace is not a prize after completion. It is a gift you may receive in the midst of the unfinished. Do you know this? When I created the world on the seventh day, I rested, not because I was tired, but so you would understand, rest is part of creation's work. If I, the Almighty, chose to stop, then you, fragile as you are, why be afraid to stop? Stopping does not kill a calling. It preserves it for the long road. When you rest in me, you allow me to keep working within you. At times, what you need is not more energy to carry on, but the lifting away of what smothers you so you can breathe. You may not realize it, but many of the loads you bear were never assigned by me. the judgments of others, the standards you set for yourself, the outcomes you cannot control. You carry the past and the future and forget the present, the place where I still abide. I have never required your perfection, only your honesty. Be honest that you are tired, that you are afraid that you cannot go on. Only then can I touch the truest part of you. Once I told you my yoke is easy and my burden is light, but you did not believe. You kept seeking a heavier load, afraid that if it were light, you would be unworthy. You did not know that what makes my burden light is not that I lessen it, but that I bear it with you. You are not called to drag the load, but to walk beside me. Learn from me, gentle and humble in heart, for only when you bow low will you be lifted up by peace. My child, try pausing for a moment. Look and see how many burdens you carry that I never once said, take this up. How many voices in your mind do not come from me? How many accusations are merely the echo of fear? I do not ask you to be stronger, I ask you to be lighter. For sometimes true faith is not enduring more but daring to release. When you begin to set the weight down, you will witness a quiet wonder. You lose nothing at all. The tasks remain, but your soul is different. The haze lifts from your eyes, the strain loosens from your smile, and your prayers are no longer cries for rescue but conversations of the heart. Then you will understand that service is not self-immolation but the letting of my light pass through you. You will learn to move more slowly, to see my hand completing the part you thought you had to bear alone. I promise, if you dare to hand me what is not yours, I will return to you what you have lost: freedom. Freedom from human gazes, from the pressure of perfection, from the haunting verdict of not enough. Freedom to be simply my child within my embrace. And from that freedom you will begin to love truly, to serve truly, and to live truly. My child, what I desire is not your success but your peace. I do not want you to shoulder the world, for I have already borne it. I only want you to learn that your hands need only hold on to mine. Everything else leave to me. And one day when you know how to stop, when you choose lightness over weight, trust over striving, you will find that I am no longer far away. You will realize I never needed you to do more. I only wanted you to walk with me. And in those slower steps, the miracle will unfold. Life will no longer be a race, but a journey of grace. Then you will be ready to enter something the world easily dismisses, yet where I am most present, ordinary moments. For when you cease to carry what is not yours, you will have room enough to notice the miracles still hidden in every small second. My child, I see you living far too fast. Each day rushes past like a gust of wind, so many tasks, so many plans, so many fears of falling behind. You run from one goal to the next, from what must be finished to what must be proved. You say, I don't have time, but I know it is not time you lack, it is presence. You are living through moments in which you are not truly there. You pass over everything that seems small or meaningless because you think it is not sacred enough, not worthy of a pause. Yet it is precisely in the moments you dismiss that I stand waiting, hoping you will look up. I am not only in churches, in hymns, or in great miracles. I am also in your ordinary breath, in the passing smile of a stranger, in the morning birdsong, in the aroma of coffee at the day's first light. You keep praying to hear my voice, not realizing that I speak through 1,000 such things every single day. You do not hear because you are busy chasing the echo of your own noise. Sometimes what carries you farthest from me is not sin, but speed. Once I walked through a crowd, people pushing, hurrying, all longing to touch my garment and claim a miracle. But only one woman touched with faith. In that touch I stopped. Just for a second, yet that second halted the whole procession. Do you see? It was not a grand deed, but a simple, small moment that moved heaven itself. The issue is not time, but attention. When your heart is truly present, even a glance, even a breath can become prayer. You often seek signs from heaven, things large, dazzling, unexpected, but I hide myself in the familiar. Not to be coy, but to teach you to see me without demanding proof. I once came into this world as a child, poor, ordinary, small, but the world was too busy looking for a mighty king to notice. Only shepherds, quiet souls in the night fields heard the angels sing. Do you see? Sometimes to find me you need only to slow down. I know there are days you look around and ask, is this really the life God promised? Just work, meals, sleep, repeat. You feel dullness, tastelessness, nothing holy. But I tell you truly, in what seems most ordinary, I am training you for what is great. Each time you wash the dishes with gratitude, each time you work silently, without needing praise, each time you offer a smile when you are spent, each is liturgy. For I do not demand great acts, I seek a simple heart. Long ago Elisha was called while he was plowing a field. Not in a temple, not at a sacrifice, but amid the tedium of an ordinary day. I came and touched his shoulder with Elijah's mantle. One small gesture enough to change his life forever. Do you see, I do not choose those who already wear halos. I choose those who live simply, yet whose hearts are ready to stop when they hear my voice. The sacred is not in the circumstance, but in the capacity to recognize my presence within it. You often ask me, why do I see no miracles? And I answer, because you do not linger long enough to notice. A miracle is not always a cure for sickness or the opening of prison doors. Sometimes it is nothing more than your desire to keep praying though you are tired, your act of forgiveness though no apology has come, your return after a fall. Each is a sign from me, but because you expect brilliance, you drop the mystery already resting in your hands. My child, I do not want your life to be a chase after events. I want you to learn to live in presence. Do not wait to give thanks until you achieve something. Give thanks within each second where nothing seems achieved. For gratitude is the key that unlocks meaning in what is small. When you begin to whisper, "Thank you, Lord," in the midst of the ordinary will slowly turn holy. I see how you belittle small encounters. You think, it's only a conversation, only a coincidence. But I say to you, in my hands nothing is accidental. Every person you meet, even once, is placed with a purpose. One look you offer, one greeting you speak, can be medicine to a soul near collapse. You do not know this because you are preoccupied with big things. But I know, for I have set you in the right place at the right time to plant a small seed for my kingdom. Once a boy brought 5 loaves and 2 fish, an unnoticed act, small as could be. Yet by those hands I fed thousands. If that boy had thought, "What good is this little bit?" the miracle would not have unfolded. So with you, every small offering, every hidden deed can nourish a soul you will never meet. You do not need to know the outcome. Only trust that I can multiply whatever you lay down. Beloved, learn to live slowly. Attend to your breath, to the sunlight through the window, to the scent of earth after rain. Look upon the one before you with my eyes, and you will see that every moment can become prayer. You need not do anything else to be holy, only be truly present to what I place before you. For holiness is not climbing higher, but going deeper into the present. Some ask to meet me in glory, and I come instead as a poor one needing help. Some ask to hear my voice, and I speak through the laughter of children in a park. Some seek revelations, and I knock by a sunbeam on their morning floor. I am not far away. You are simply accustomed to searching for me where I never promised to be. Remember, you need not chase special days. Today is the chosen day. You need not wait for a miracle. The very fact you still have breath is miracle. You need not await another sign. I have sent many you did not recognize. Begin again by opening your eyes to what seems smallest of all. Live this way, and you will see something happen. Your worries shrink as your faith grows. Your plans feel lighter because you no longer carry them alone. The people you meet, even in passing, bear my likeness. Then the world will no longer split into sacred and secular, great and small. All becomes holy, for all is suffused with my breath. My child, do not despise moments that seem to hold nothing. For when you live that nothing with your whole heart, I can make of it everything. Do not search for me only on peaks. Find me in the field you cross, in your mother's smile, in a child's bright eyes, in a morning greeting. You do not need to look far, for I have never left your side. One day you will see the holy is not merely in the miracles I perform, but in how I make the ordinary worth living. When you grasp this, you will not wait for high feast days to glimpse grace, for grace already overflows, simply waiting for you to look up. And when you look up, you will find me still smiling within the world you once called too ordinary. You will know I was never silent. You simply had not paused long enough to hear. When you finally stop, everything grows bright, not because the world has changed, but because your eyes have been healed. My child, live as though every breath were a prayer, every small task an offering, every ordinary day a miracle. For I am here in the most ordinary of things, turning them into the eternal. Look back upon the road you have walked, each footprint steeped in days I, myself, have watched over. Do you remember the moments when darkness filled your heart, when every door seemed shut and you felt you had nowhere to return? Was it not then that I came, quietly opened my arms, and warmed your trembling soul? How many times have I lifted you when your legs gave out, dried the tears before they fell, until each sob faded in your chest, because you knew there was still a refuge, still a hand that would never let go, my child. Whenever you thought I was silent, I was speaking in the language of stillness, with the beat of my heart within your own. I do not speak through thunder to frighten you, nor through fire to make you quake, but through a breeze as gentle as dawn, heard only when your heart grows calm. In that hush alone can you hear the sacred that clamor cannot bring. Now a new chapter opens, and I am arranging for someone to step across the threshold of your life tomorrow. At first you will notice nothing unusual, for the form will be as ordinary as any other, the words simple and unadorned. But I tell you, look with eyes. I have trained eyes of the soul, not of the flesh. For the things of the Spirit are seen only by the trusting heart. The merely earthly eye will call it chance. This meeting is no accident. It was written into time before you ever cried your first cry. Every glance, each word, each moment of that conversation has been carefully set by me, like a painting whose every stroke I have weighed with eternity. And when you speak, do not let your words flow from impulse, from shallow feeling, or from the little self's pride. Let each word rise from my heart within you, for my word carries power to transform. I will place on your lips what must be said in your mind, what must be understood, and in your hands the strength to do what must be done. But you must learn surrender, not only giving what is easy to release, but placing into my care even what you most wish to keep. Surrender is not defeat. It is trust that my plan stretches far beyond your brief horizon. There are doors I have already opened in the unseen, which no human strength can shut. There are promises sealed with my own signet, which no opposing power can break. You were born for a destiny larger than you have imagined, and now I invite you to step into its flow. But to walk this way, you need an obedient heart, not the half-obedience of fear, but the wholehearted yielding of love. Do not mistake obedience for weakness. On the contrary, it is unmatched strength, the force that makes heaven tremble and hell shudder. When a soul yields to the will of the Creator, the universe aligns itself to serve that purpose. You need prove nothing to anyone, nor seek the world's approval, for this work is not for display, but for my honor through you. Obey in silence, act in hiddenness, and let the fruit speak on your behalf. If you do this, a turning awaits you ahead. A fresh breath will move across the barren ground you thought could never live again. The stagnation that bound you for so long will dissipate like morning mist under the rising Sunday. You will witness what I once promised take form before your eyes, not in dreams but in reality. Yet it begins with one small step, the step of faith, the step of obedience. Do not despise what seems simple, for it can tip the scales of an entire life. You once wished I would speak loudly so you could hear, but now you know I choose the quiet to teach you to listen with the heart. When you stop chasing noisy signs, you begin to sense my gentle presence in the smallest of things. When you cease comparing yourself to others, the noise subsides, and in that stillness you discover I have never left. I am there in every breath, every heartbeat, every moment you exist. My child, tonight before dawn breaks, I want you to sit alone in silence. Let the clamor of the world fade away. Do not open your soul to comparisons, rivalries, or anxieties that do not belong to you. Turn your eyes from what distracts, for I would speak something weighty. There are truths that can only be heard in the night, when the soul is no longer stretched thin by 100 thoughts. In that darkness, my light shines brighter than ever. Tomorrow, when that person appears, do not judge by outward appearance. Discern with the deep intuition within you the place where I dwell. You will know, for your heart will ripple like a lake stirred by a gentle breeze. Speak the words I place in your heart, even if you do not grasp their meaning in the moment. At times, I cause you to say what you yourself have not yet recognized for. The words are not yours, they are mine. You are the messenger. I am the giver of life to that word. And child, do not fear. Fear is the voice of the dark. Faith is the language of heaven. Whenever you tremble, remember the many storms through which I have upheld you. I have never broken my word, and I will not begin now. I remain faithful as surely as the sun rises, no matter how long the night. Let your faith be your answer too. My love for that faith not only opens a way for you, it also magnifies my name among humankind. You were chosen not because you are flawless, but because I would display the power of grace through you. Grace is not only forgiveness, it is strength to rise, to advance, to love, even when wounded. Let that grace flow through you like cool water, greening the parched earth of humanity. As you do, you yourself will be healed. I know there will be times you feel weary, as if you have nothing left to offer. Remember, in that very weakness, my power is made complete. Do not strive to be strong alone, for true strength does not come from effort but from trust. Let me be your strength. Let me be your calm in the storm, your song in the night, the lamp that guides your steps through the fog-bound wood. What I call you to today is not some grand task before the eyes of the world, but a simple act of a yielded heart. Sometimes a small step in the dark opens the door to everlasting light. Do not be afraid to begin, for as you step forward, angels are sent ahead to prepare the way. And I will walk beside you, not letting you stumble. When you do what I command, the heavens themselves will shake. Barriers that once blocked you will fall, not by human might, but because your obedience releases my power. What was long held back will suddenly be opened like a stream bursting its banks after a long winter's freeze. Then you will understand that a hidden act of obedience can alter destiny itself. My child, walk on in humility. Do not seek admiring eyes or crave recognition. Your true reward is not in human hands, but in my gaze. I see, I know, I remember. Every drop of your sweat, every word you utter, every moment you choose, faithfulness over retreat, I inscribe upon my heart. When the time comes, the fruit will bloom, not because you deserve it, but because I am faithful. Tonight, let your heart be still. Believe that you are not alone. I am here in this quiet space, waiting for you to return to hear my word. You need only listen. Leave the rest to me. The hand that once fashioned the universe is surely strong enough to uphold your life. Though you have tried to script your future, your path, the summits you thought your own hand would draw now release every image. What I am about to do, what I have ordained for you, surpasses every limit of human thought. My ways are not the world's ways. They are woven of eternal love and boundless wisdom. When I say my timing is perfect, you may not comprehend, for your eyes see only what is near. But I behold the whole, where every fragment, however small, has a place. You are not late, not left behind. You stand exactly where and when I have chosen to teach you, shape you, and reveal my glory through your very life. Now I am slowly lifting the veil over the future, that you might glimpse the radiance drawing near. I do not show you this to alarm or overwhelm you, but to steady your heart. I know there will be days when you tremble, nights when tears fall from weariness and doubt. I give you light not so you can reach it by your own strength, but so you will know that even through the storm that light awaits you, undying, unquenched. Remember this, for the storm will surely come not to destroy but to refine. When winds howl and waves roar and all seems broken, remember you have seen my glory, you know I am real. That will be the anchor of your soul, that you are not swept away by fear. I am not only beside you, though that alone would comfort. I am within you. My power works through you. My words speak through your mouth, and my love pours through your heart. What you think you cannot do, I will do through you. Do not strain to hold yourself up. Do not insist you must be skilled enough, strong enough, worthy enough. I chose you not because you are perfect, but to display my power through your very weakness. You have nothing to prove. You need only believe and walk one step at a time in obedience. As you entrust yourself, you will see me act, and all that I do will exceed all you ask or imagine. There will be times you do not understand why I am silent, why your prayers seem to meet an unanswering sky, yet in the hush I am at work. Seeds do not sprout under glaring light, but in the dark of the soil where no eye can see. So too I am quietly preparing you, so that when the moment comes, you can stand in the light without being consumed by the very glory you carry. Be patient. I am never late, and I never err. Humans measure by the hands of a clock. I measure by eternal purpose. Every moment I let you wait holds a hidden lesson of faith, humility, and gratitude. There are things I will break in you: pride, self-reliance, the false foundations you mistook for bedrock. I do not break to harm you, but to set you free. You will find that only when what once held you is gone do you truly live. I do not want you merely safe. I want you whole. The storm does not come to drown you, but to teach you who I am, the one who commands wind and wave to be still. When you stand within the storm, do not beg the wind to cease. Ask instead for a quiet heart, for I am there in the boat carrying you through. When the curtain is fully lifted, you will see how wondrous my work has been. Every crooked path, every tear, every wound you thought meaningless, each is a stroke in my design. I turn sorrow into jewels, trials into testimony, loss into new beginnings. One day you will look back and know without the dark days you could not have recognized how radiant my light truly is. Do not fear the unknown. I am already there. Do not fear failure. Within each failure, I am building the truest victory. You are a work in progress in my hands, and I never abandon what I begin. Let me keep shaping you, hewing, smoothing, bending if need be, for I see the gem within the rough stone. I am not in a hurry, for love is never hurried. When you fall, I do not scold. I gently lift you up. When you weep, I do not turn away. I listen to every sob. Every tear you shed I know, and I use those very tears to water the soil of hope until the fruit of faith breaks forth. You think yourself weak, yet in that weakness I show myself strong. You fear you are lost, yet you are being led deeper to the place where you learn that having me is enough. What I seek is not perfection, but a willing heart. Keep your heart soft before me. Do not close it out of fear or hurt. I do not wish to walk with you for a stretch only, but for the whole journey. I do not wish you merely to hear my voice, but to move in step with me, so that every breath, every decision, every step bears the imprint of my love. Believe this when I say, my timing is perfect. It is no empty promise. It is the foundation of all that is unfolding in your life. Today you may see only tangles, doors closed, people gone, dreams deferred. But I see the end from the beginning. I am reordering not to take away, but to give you what is better and enduring. I do not craft small dreams. I fashioned you to reflect my glory. And that glory shines forth as you dare to walk by faith, though unseen, yet believing, though not yet understanding, yet obeying. Let go of the notion that you must control everything. Peace does not come from understanding all things, but from trusting that I hold all things in my hands. When you stop struggling, you will realize my arms have never let you go. When you cease trying to solve every matter, you will begin to hear my gentle voice reminding you that you are loved, chosen, and kept. And when you grasp this, the storm will no longer make you tremble, for you will know the storm is not the final period, but the prelude to the glory that is coming. I am doing a new thing in your life. Open your heart and receive it. Let me continue the story with the pen of heaven. Do not fear change. Do not cling to what is worn and old, for sometimes you must release what has died in order to touch what is more alive. I am rebuilding from the ashes, and what is about to blossom will astonish you. Every pain, every season of waiting, every moment that seemed hopeless, I am using them as the foundation for the miracle about to unfold. Walk in peace, for I go before you. I am with you, and I work through you. Let me turn your life into a hymn of faith that rings out in a noisy world. When others look at you, they will not see only you but me, the one who turns weakness into strength, tears into glory, and silence into a song of salvation. You are not on the wrong road. You are simply traveling the route of grace. And as you keep believing, keep walking, and keep placing your life in my hands, you will witness what the world cannot comprehend, that in the very heart of the storm there is still peace, because I, myself, am that peace. Do not fear tomorrow, for tomorrow is no longer a haze, when I have already arrived there before your worries could begin. In every breath you take, I am present beyond the borders of time, gently touching the future you have not yet seen, arranging each detail of the path you are about to tread. I know the steep turns you dread to face. I have gone ahead to straighten them, so that every step you take is no longer the hesitant rhythm of confusion, but the steady cadence of a trusting heart. You may not see it, but in the unseen realm I have sent angels to encamp around you like walls of light encircling your fragile soul. The world may be complex and hearts may change, but my arms have never let go. In the places where others see only soot and dust, I have hidden precious gems. They are not for hurried eyes. They open only to those who dare to trust and walk in hope. With every step you take, I lift another veil, that you might discover faith is not a blind journey, but a deep encounter between your soul and my love. And when the new morning brushes your window, do not rush headlong into the frenzy of the day. Let the first minutes be sacred as you turn your heart toward me. Sit still, be quiet, let your breathing blend with my tender presence. While the world still slumbers, let me wake you with words of love, not with the noise of life. I long to be the first sound in your mind, the headwater that refreshes your parched soul at dawn. Let me clothe you in the garment of peace, that before you face the world you are already covered with strength from on high. Do not let the day begin in the emptiness of anxiety or the haste of tasks, for a soul not filled in me will easily sway before the gale. Step out with a heart kindled by my word, so that everything you do and every word you speak becomes a reflection of my presence within you. Success does not spring from outer preparations, nor from plans calculated to perfection. It begins with a readiness deep in your spirit, where you entrust all things to me and allow me to lead. There will be days you wake in weariness, feeling you have no strength left to go on, but remember, I have never left. When you feel most alone, That is when I am nearest. When no light seems to lie ahead, I am quietly lighting a lantern in the distance to guide you. Believe that none of your steps fall into meaningless voids. Every tear you shed I keep, every sigh I hear. What you call failure is often the groundwork upon which I build something greater. You do not need to understand everything. You need only trust that all things rest in my hands. The world may be uncertain, but my plan for you has never been vague. When you halt in confusion, lift your eyes. Do not see only the gray sky. Believe that behind the clouds is the sunlight I have kept for you. Faith is not the denial of the storm. It is the courage to walk through it with the calm assurance that I am holding your hand. Though you pass through the night, I go with you, for I am the light that never goes out. Let faith become the wings that lift you from the chasm of fear. When you are weak, do not strive to be strong alone. Let me be your strength, the cool water poured upon the desert of your soul. You will never know how strong you can be until you let me carry your burden. Whatever tomorrow brings, remember that I am already there, already seeing, already preparing, already arranging all things for your sake. You may not yet see the result, but I am at work in quietness. Like a seed buried in the soil, you cannot yet see the sprout, but life is rising day by day. Be patient, for my timing is never late. I do not forget you, nor do I lose my way. Every season you pass through, rain or sunshine, is woven by me with meaning. When you trust, every pain becomes a lesson, every loss carries a gift. You will one day look back and see that everything I permitted was to bring you to the place I appointed. Therefore, do not chase useless worries. Do not rush into the grinding wheel and forget the most important thing, your connection with me. The time you give me is never wasted. It is when your soul is healed, your mind is set in order, and peace seeps to the very depths of your heart. You will see everything differently when you begin the day with reverence and gratitude. Every burden seems lighter, every challenge becomes surmountable. For when you let me be the center, everything else naturally falls into its proper place. My beloved child, I do not want you merely to exist. I want you to live, truly, live with purpose, with joy, with the wholeness I intended. I have not called you to walk through this life with a trembling heart, but with eyes wide to wonder. Each morning is an opportunity to behold new mercies. I am waiting for you in every small moment, in bird song, in a tender breeze, in the first light of day. Learn to recognize me in what seems ordinary, for when you find me in the small things, you will never lose your way amid the great. Tomorrow ceases to be fearful when you know I am the one who goes before you. And in each day you live, I am not only preparing what you desire, I am shaping you into the person I long for. Spiritual maturity does not come through ease, but through every time you dare to believe before you see and choose to step before the way is clear. And I, at every step, have never ceased to hold your hand. Therefore, let your heart find its rest in me. Do not fear tomorrow, for tomorrow already lies in the hands of eternal love. Now, as I speak to you in the low voice of the wind and the gentle breath of the falling night, I see how weariness has etched itself deep into your soul. You have walked long days piling on your shoulders burdens that were never yours to bear. You have strained to the point of exhaustion, believing that only when you are approved will you be worthy of love and grace. But, child, I have never asked you to prove any of that. You are loved not for what you do, but for who you are, the child I chose and engraved upon my heart before the world was formed. You have chased distant calls, seeking acceptance from people, while in me you have always been wholly received. Lay down the straining to be loved, to be seen, to be validated, for you were never meant to fight for what has always been yours. My favor is not a reward for merit, but a gift for the child who returns in faith and surrender. You have lived too long in the whirl of fear, fear of being forgotten, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. But, child, I have seen you from the beginning. Your mistakes do not change. my love for you, nor do they dim the tenderness in my gaze when you stumble. Do you think I turn away when you are weak? No. In the very moments you feel most spent, I draw nearer than ever. I come to you not with demands, but with mercy. Let me undo each chain you have wrapped around yourself, the chains of guilt, of pressure, of the need to be perfect. You do not need to be grand to be loved. You need only to be yourself, honest, sincere, knowing that I am loving you with a love unconditional and without limit. Release the worries you cannot control. Do not try to steer the vessel of your life by your own strength when you have me, the boundless ocean, ready to bear you up. You have spent so much time battling the storms that you have forgotten that if you let me take the helm, you will find the sea growing calm. At times I allow the winds to rise, not to sink you, but to teach you that you are not alone. Stop, breathe deeply, and recognize that you are in my arms. No straining, no running, only remain. Remain in the peace I have prepared for you. Do not fear the dark days, for the light never goes out. I do not let a single tear you cry be lost. I keep them like precious jewels in my heart, for each one tells the story of your growing in faith. Prayers that seem to disappear into silence are in truth being cradled within my timing. You may not see the outcome yet. Do not imagine I do not listen. I am working still, quiet and steadfast in the smallest details of your life. Not a single moment passes without me beside you. Even along roads you thought were wrong turns, I am arranging them into paths that lead you to what is good. There are times you ask why dreams have not come true, why a door has closed, though you pleaded so earnestly. But child, I do not close a door without opening to something better. Every delay, every disappointment carries a deeper meaning that only hindsight will reveal. Sometimes I let you pass through parched days, so you learn to thirst for the living water. Sometimes I allow you to lose what is precious, so you can know the worth of the unchanging love found in me. Everything I do is for your good. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is without purpose. Tonight let your soul find rest, not merely the sleep of the body, but the rest of trust. Entrust every concern and calculation into my hands. Do not clutch what is slipping away, for I am already holding you. When you let me be the Lord of your life, you will find the burden made light, for I bear it with you. I know you are tired and wounded and have tried until you are spent. But know this, when you stop, I will lift you up. Believe that my hand is strong enough to heal every wound and gentle enough to soothe every fracture in your heart. You no longer need to prove your worth before me. You do not need to compare yourself to anyone or chase the measures of the world. You are singular, a handiwork I crafted with love and intent. Every breath you draw and every beat of your heart lies within my design. I love you, not because you are perfect, but because I see within you the seed of beauty I have planted. Allow me to bring that seed to flower within you, that you might live in true freedom, the freedom of one who knows they are loved and they belong. I do not require you to be strong at all times. There are moments when you need only to be silent and weep, and I will be the place where you rest your head. Do not hide your weakness, for I do not mock it. On the contrary, when you recognize you cannot, I can. I want you to learn to lean, not to brace alone. The world may turn its back, but I never depart. You need only lift your eyes. I am still here, and my gaze never turns away. Remember that you were not made to live forever in fear, but to live in love. You have grown so accustomed to trying to control everything that you forget miracles happen only when you let go. Faith is not knowing all things, but daring to walk in the dark, trusting that I am leading the way. At times, I do not give you a map. I place a small lamp in your hand so you can learn to take one step at a time. Yet, my child, every step is watched by me, and every breath you take is cherished. When you understand that I am working all things for your good, fear will loosen its grip. Even when the storm breaks, you can be at peace knowing it is not beyond my hand. I can turn sorrow into blessing and wounds into places where light pours through. What you thought was loss, I will redeem. What you deemed futile, I will cause to blossom. Every moment you live bears eternal weight in my hand. Not a single tear is forgotten. Not a single prayer falls outside my ear. Tonight, as you close your eyes, I want more for you than sleep. I want you to truly rest. Let your heart melt into the peace I give. Stop trying to understand everything. Stop striving to bend the world to your will. Instead, let me be the pulse in your heart, the breath in your lungs, the light that shines through your shadowed places. When you learn to surrender, you will find life growing strangely light. I do not promise a sky without storms, but I promise you will never be alone within them. Let this night be a beginning one of trust, of a life no longer chained by worry and fear. Rest in my arms, for there you lack nothing. I have waited so long to say this, you are mine forever and fully. Nothing can separate you from my love. Let your heart find its steady rhythm of peace in me, and when dawn comes you will see that all things have become new, not because the world has changed, but because you have allowed me to change the world within you. I know that deep within you there are still undercurrents of doubt, of fear, of questions without answers. But my child, let your heart grow still, like a lake after the wind. Peace does not come from understanding everything. It comes when you choose to trust my hand, the hand that is gently upholding you step by step in the thickest night. You are not lost. You are in my process where every slow step and every moment that seems meaningless is being woven with exquisite care. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared for something so great your present mind cannot yet imagine it. I am never hasty, yet I am never late. Every season of your life carries a sacred purpose, and as you learn to accept that rhythm, you will see that nothing is random. You once thought my silence meant I had withdrawn, but, my child, sometimes, in that very silence, I am speaking more than ever. I am training your ears to hear what others cannot, your heart to be sensitive to the breath of the Spirit, so you can recognize my voice even in a passing breeze. Do not fear the days when you feel alone, for in solitude, I am filling your soul with quiet strength. When the world pulls away, that is your invitation to come deeper into my embrace. You have not been left behind. You are being welcomed into a more intimate place where there is only you and me. I know you are weary of waiting, of watching others seem to surge ahead. But remember, I do not measure success as the world does. Every soul has its own journey, and the cadence I set for you cannot be compared with anyone else's. If you keep looking left or right, your gaze will be drawn away from the goal I have appointed for you. Fix your eyes on me, the only one who can lead you through every shadow without losing your way. When your gaze stays on me, the storm cannot sink you, for I am the one who walks upon those very waters. I do not need you to understand. I need you to trust. Faith does not demand proof, and obedience does not require explanation. You are not called to please people, but to live a life that pleases me. Do not seek human applause, for that approval passes like the wind. But if you live to delight me, I, myself, will cause others to see my glory in you. When you walk in holy confidence, not drawn from ego, but from knowing you belong to me, no power can hinder what I have begun in you. I am not only preparing open doors for you, I am preparing you to be strong enough to walk through them. My child, great gifts carry great weight. To receive them without being crushed, your soul must be tempered. I am growing your roots deep and sure, so that when tempests rise, you will still stand. Blessing is not only what I pour out, it is the very identity being formed in you. If I only bestowed gifts without building you, those gifts would become burdens. But because I am a good father, I never give what would shatter you. Everything I place in your hands is wrapped in perfect love and wisdom. You once asked me for a breakthrough, and now I tell you I am not only preparing it, I am shaping you to be worthy of it. A breakthrough without foundation breeds collapse. I love you too much to allow that. Know this: every trial you pass through is a stone I am using to build a sturdy foundation for your future. Every tear, every long night, every moment you wanted to give up, I am turning it all into strength. You are being formed not to be harmed, but to become steadfast. The maturity I seek in you does not spring from knowledge, but from trust. When you no longer lean on feelings, when you choose to walk, even when you cannot see the road, faith is being forged. You are learning to live not by what your eyes perceive, but by the call of the soul. And my child, that is what sets you apart. Do not be troubled when others do not understand you. They were not called to walk this path. It may look foolish to them, but you know it is obedience. You will see me open doors you once thought impossible. Yet do not rejoice in the door. Rejoice in me, the one who opens it. I care not only about where you arrive, but about who you become along the way. I am forming in you a heart that loves, forgives, and looks upon others with kindness. You will feel your heart grow soft, responding not with fear, but with calm. That is the sign you are maturing in me. Remember, I never abandon you mid-journey. When you stumble, I am there not to rebuke, but to lift you up. Every fall is an opportunity to lean on me more. When you are tired, rest your head upon my shoulder. When you are lost, call my name. When you do not know what to do, simply be still and let me act. I do not ask for perfection. I ask for honesty with yourself and with me. For in your weakness my power is revealed. My dear one, I have seen what you have not yet seen. I see potential where you see limitation. I see light where you see only night. Do not let the past define you. Do not let your wounds make you forget the one who heals them. You are not determined by what has happened, but by the one who has chosen you. And I chose you before you ever knew me. That choice cannot be altered or taken away. Wherever you go, my hand is there stretched out to welcome you. Now you stand at the threshold of a new season. Stand firm, draw a deep breath, and let your heart fill with expectation, not in yourself, but in me, the one who never breaks a promise. The road will have rough places, and laughter will mingle with tears, but when you look back, it will all become a hymn of praise. I have begun a good work in you, and I will bring it to completion. So, beloved child, let peace flood your heart. Fix your eyes on me, and do not turn away. Do not fear, do not doubt. I know how to guide you through the night and make flowers bloom in the barren desert. All you need is to take my hand and walk one step at a time, small yet sure. Every step you take in faith is a step closer to the glory I have ordained. And when that day comes, you will understand why you had to wait, why you had to ache, why you had to pass through days that seemed empty of hope. You will look back and see that it was all worth it, for everything has shaped you into who you truly are, the version of yourself I have always seen, always loved, and always trusted. Keep walking, my child, for dawn is near. In that light, you will know I never left. I was waiting for you to grow strong enough to recognize that in all things I remain the Father, and you remain my beloved child. Beloved one, open your soul and listen. For my word is not a sound that slips away into the air, but a stream that flows into the depths of your spirit. Do not hear in haste and then forget, for some words are spoken only once, and those who keep them within will discover an unfading treasure. There are moments that seem ordinary, like any other day yet in my sight they blaze like a lamp kindled at midnight, for they are the hours I have appointed to alter the course of your life. Measure a day not by what you see, but by the quiet turning within the realm of the Spirit. I dwell beyond the limits of time, where the minutes that fall for you, like grains of sand, each carry a melody, a meaning, a beginning of something great. I behold the first and the last of every season, and I hear the echo of each of your breaths in the river of eternity. My child, there are mornings when you wake heavy-hearted, as if everything drifts without direction. Yet in those very days I am quietly weaving invisible threads, binding together each event, every tear and every smile, to form a tapestry that only when complete will show you that everything had a reason. Do not fear when darkness gathers, for only in the night does the star of destiny burn brightest. You often see only what lies before you, but I see the whole journey. I know you are walking a narrow path toward a wide land. There are days you think you are lost, but in my eyes you are right on course. You have not yet reached the clearing where it all becomes plain. My child, there are appointments I set before the sun first rose, before the world had a shape. Those days are not noisy or dazzling, yet they carry a sacred energy where I touch your life with the hand of eternal purpose. It might be a chance meeting, a simple word, or a tear shed in silence, but each is a fragment of the symphony I am composing for your soul. No moment you live is meaningless. Every breath writes a new chapter in a story already ordained. And when you cease to look with ordinary eyes and begin to see with the eyes of the Spirit, you will know that everything moves in the flawless order of my love for you. Beloved child, I know you have asked, why must pain come? Why do dreams break? Understand that sometimes the breaking is not an ending, but the way I open a door for what is better to enter. A seed must split for life to sprout. A person must pass through fire to be refined. I do not let you endure because I desire your pain, but because I desire your growth, your strength, your sight, to find light within your own night. You will never grasp the ocean's depth if you will not leave the shore, nor will you know the firmness of faith until it has been tried. Days that seemed like loss are in truth the beginning of a resurrection road. My child, learn the art of stillness, for only in stillness can you hear my whisper. The clamor of the world makes you forget that I am right beside you, still speaking, still guiding. You chase the call of countless vanities, and sometimes think I have fallen silent. But no, I have never been silent. I have only been waiting for you to stop so I can speak to you in the language of peace. Let your heart become like a lake at rest, so that when I touch it, waves of love can ripple without end. Do not be afraid, for I am with you in every season of life, when you laugh and when you weep, when you succeed and when you collapse. Not a single tear falls that I do not see, not a single sigh sounds that I do not hear. Beloved child, there will be days when I awaken your soul with strange winds. Those are the moments I want you to step beyond the safety of what is known and walk toward a new land. Do not clutch what has passed, for if you cling to the old, you will miss the wonder I am preparing. Every change carries fear within it, yet behind that fear is a door into growth. I want you to become yourself, the very self I envisioned before you were born. I did not make you to live dimly, but to shine in the world, not with outward glitter, but with the inner light, the light of truth, of faith, and of love. Child, remember that your journey is not a string of random days. Every step you take, every person you meet, everything you pass through rests within my hand. Wherever you go and whatever road you choose, I can use that very road to bring you to the place you need to be. Do not worry if you do not grasp the meaning of everything at once, for some secrets are revealed only after you have walked far enough. Faith does not demand understanding. It asks for a heart that dares to believe I am good, even when your circumstances are not yet good. My child, do not let fear govern your steps, for fear is the night that veils the light of faith. Be brave and trust. My plan, though you cannot yet see the path, walk, for I have gone before you. Though the storm may howl, remember that I stand between you and the tempest. When you are weak, I am your strength. When you are lost, I am your way. When you are broken, I am the hand that mends. I do not promise you a road forever smooth, but I promise you will never walk it alone. Beloved child, learn to behold life with the eyes of gratitude, for when you are grateful, your heart will find miracles in the simplest things. Morning sunlight, a child's laughter, the warmth of someone's hand, each is a sign I send to remind you that this life is still beautiful and still worth living. When you fixate on what is lost, you sink into shadow. But when you give thanks, the light breaks open. Gratitude is the key that opens the door of peace. It is the song that makes the darkness fade. And at last, child, remember that life is not measured by the number of your years, but by the moments you live. Truly, when you love, when you forgive, when you trust, when you step out for what is good. Time will pass and seasons will change, but my love for you will not. It is an unfailing stream, the breath of eternity flowing through your every heartbeat. When you understand this, you will no longer fear tomorrow, for tomorrow belongs to me and I belong to you. Dear child, go on with steadfast faith and a heart full of hope. Do not fear loneliness, for loneliness is but the open space I use to whisper into your heart. Remember, you are not here by accident. In this very hour, you were born to carry a mission, a deep meaning that only you can fulfill. Let the light within you illumine the dark places. Let the love within you heal the wounds, and let the faith within you reach toward what once seemed impossible. For you are my workmanship, wonderfully made, loved, without condition, destined to walk in the glory of eternal life. Beloved child, listen in the quiet of your soul for the moments before sleep closes. Your eyes are the hours that shape the spirit. They are not empty time or mere routine, but a sacred rite where your mind and soul mingle, sowing seeds for tomorrow. Every thought, every belief, every whisper in the depths of your heart before sleep are invisible threads weaving the fabric of destiny. Do not take that moment lightly, for it is the start of a new cycle of light or of shadow, according to what you choose to plant within. A thought may be as small as the first drop of dew on the branch, yet when it falls into the soil of your subconscious, it will take root, sprout, and bear fruit in your life. If you sow faith and peace, there you will reap a gentle dawn. But if you sow worry, doubt, and fear, they will become heavy clouds that shroud your soul all day long. Child, your mind is like a garden. Each night before sleep, you are the gardener choosing seeds for tomorrow. If you let negative thoughts, painful memories, or shapeless anxieties slip in, you are letting weeds spread and cover the flowers and the fruit. But if you know how to close your eyes in gratitude, in the stillness of faith, in the remembrance of my love, you are planting seeds of light, of hope, and of life. Do not go to bed in agitation or anger, for such vibrations will follow you into sleep like a hidden ember that slowly scorches the soul. Let your heart be washed in forgiveness. Let your mind rest in prayer, and let your sleep become the place where you find rest in my embrace. For child, sleep is not only the body's rest, it is the soul's homeward journey. When your body sinks into stillness, your spirit continues to walk, to listen, to learn in the deep places of life, and what it carries into that journey is your final thought. A thought filled with darkness will lead your soul into a maze of unrest, but a thought radiant with faith will open the door to peace and illumination. Imagine yourself standing at two paths. One leads into thick fog where you lose your bearings and fumble forward in anxiety. The other leads into a garden of light where you hear the wind singing and feel my breath. Which path you choose begins with what you think just before you fall asleep. Do not underestimate the power of an idea. A thought born of faith can become a miracle, while a thought born of fear can become a chain. In the hush of night, your mind is an altar, where you may offer a silent prayer or build a wall of your own making. Know that whenever you turn your soul toward me, even for a single breath, I hear, I see, I am there. And your final thought, if set within, my light, will become the gentle current that carries you into a child's calm sleep in the Father's arms. Do not let the day slip away in weariness, and then carry that burden into the night. Let night be your hour of release, the place where you entrust all things to me. for I am where you may lay down every worry and every unfinished piece. Close your eyes with gratitude that you have lived, that you have loved, that you have tried, even if the result is not yet complete. Gratitude is the key that opens the door of serenity. A grateful heart leaves no room for fear because it is already full of light. Let your final thought be a word of thanks. I am grateful that today I still live within your love. And when you wake, that very gratitude will be the cool water, washing away all fatigue, helping you begin the new day with a clear soul. Child, remember that each night is a farewell to the old and a welcome to the new. The thought you sow before sleep is a quiet promise to yourself who you will become when dawn returns. If you sow the seed of love, you will rise with a tender heart. If you sow the seed of forgiveness, you will feel light. If you sow the seed of faith, you will stand stronger before trials. For the soul does not sleep, it works, even in your dreams, receiving what you entrust to it and silently weaving a new silk for your life. Therefore, be careful with what you leave in your mind before sleep arrives. There are those who live in fear because they let fear be their final thought at night. There are those who live in hope because they know to rest their hearts in the light. And you, I want you to be one who sows light, who lets your mind dwell in my love. When you think of me not as a distant deity, but as a gentle father watching over you, you will never again feel alone. Night will cease to be darkness and become a tender blanket wrapped around your soul. You know, even the universe comes to rest at night. When all sounds subside, everything returns to the deep rhythm of life. Let your soul join that rhythm. No resistance, no striving, only a soft release. Let tangled thoughts fade like smoke until only the stillness where I dwell remains. In that stillness you will hear the calling of peace, the whisper of faith, and the message I speak to you alone. Therefore, never go to bed without letting your heart find rest in my love. Think on what is noble. Let your mind touch what is sacred. Let the final words of your day be a praise, a prayer, or simply a quiet breath, I am in you. Then your sleep will become a meeting where your soul bathes in light, and I touch you with my peace. And when morning comes and you awaken, you will find yourself changed, not because the world has shifted, but because you have. Your gaze will be brighter, your step steadier, your heart lighter. For your final thought has become the seed of a new day, and I have watered it with grace. Remember, child night is not a period but the beginning of something new. Each night, you are given the chance to be reborn, to shake off the dust of the old day and return to yourself pure as the first dawn. So then, child, before you close your eyes, choose a thought worthy of you. Choose light over shadow, faith over doubt, love over resentment, for what you choose will write the story of tomorrow. I am there in every breath, in every thought you turn my way. Let your mind sleep in my peace, and you will awaken in the radiance that is truly yours. When night descends and the world's breathing softens, that is the moment I draw near, not with a voice, but with a stillness full of power. Let your heart grow gentle then, like a lake after the wind, so each of my words may sink quietly into your every thought, into every beat of your heart. For only when your heart is quiet can you hear the voice of the unseen, where I keep whispering your name with a love that never dies. Let my words become the warmth that wraps your soul, so that with every breath, as you drift to sleep, there rises a thanksgiving to the heights where peace is no longer bound by time or space. Gratitude is the sweet water that refreshes a parched soul. It makes you light as a leaf resting in the wind, letting go of the weight of a long day. And when you can give thanks even for your breath, your sleep becomes a silent prayer, leading your soul into the refuge that only the pure in heart can reach. When you lie down in trust, even the heavens bend to shield you. Your body may grow tired, but your soul is wrapped in my light. Do not think of sleep as forgetting. Rather, it is when you are reborn in the depths of your own being, for in the stillness I am at work. When the world sinks into darkness, I light your spirit with small lamps, just enough for you to recognize the path of tomorrow. Dreams are not meaningless images drifting through the subconscious. They are letters I send, secret words written in light and faith. They not only warn you of trials, but also map the way to your maturing. Do not take lightly the visions, even the smallest ones, for every image you see, every sound you hear in sleep, carries a seed of wisdom. And when I choose to whisper in the night, it is not to make you tremble before the mystery, but because only in the night, when the noise of life is hushed, does your soul grow deep enough to listen. Let every sleep be a sacred meeting between your spirit and the Creator. When you close your eyes, the outer world falls away, but the inner world opens, where you are no longer a frail body, but a soul bearing the imprint of eternity. There I touch you not with hands, but with thought, with the tenderness of a passing breeze that still makes you shiver with understanding. It is there I sow in you seeds of wisdom, not that you might understand at once, but so that when dawn arrives, those seeds will sprout into intuition, into strength, into a calm that stands steady amid the storm. Because each day is a new battle, yet I never send you into it empty-handed. While you sleep, I prepare for you the armor of faith, the sword of truth, and the shield of courage. You may not know it, but when trial comes, your soul will remember on its own, as if some hidden part of you has already been trained and made ready. That is the wonder of faith, not understanding, in order to believe, but believing so that you may understand. When you awaken in the morning light, the peace you feel does not come from deep sleep, but from having been touched by me in the night. Every fear of yesterday dissolves like mist, for in your dreams you have heard me say, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you." Beloved soul, remember always that every sleep is a homecoming. When you lay your head upon the pillow, do not let only the body rest. Let your spirit return to its origin, to the place where light is born. Each night is an opportunity to be cleansed of the dust of the world, so that worries, disappointments, and sorrows no longer occupy your heart. Let them drift away with your final breath before sleep, and in your dreams be free to fly to the realm of truth, where only pure love remains. In that stillness I teach you, what daylight cannot, that true strength does not arise from striving but from surrender. That wisdom is not knowing much but knowing how to be silent. That faith is not born in blazing light, but in the darkness of trial. There will be nights when you hear my call not as sound but as a feeling, a strange urging that wakes you at midnight and fills the room with something sacred. Do not be afraid, it is I. I am there, not far and high, but as close as your breath. Smile, place your hand upon your heart and whisper your thanks, for when you know how to give thanks, the universe opens its heart. Gratitude is the key that unlocks every door. When you are grateful even for the moon peeking through your window or the wind stirring softly in the leaves, you are flowing with the current of life, the current of which I am the source. And in that gratitude, you become clear-sighted, unburdened, and stronger than ever. Do not regard sleep as the end of a day, but as the beginning of a new journey. When you let your mind rest in me, every wound will be healed, and every unanswered question will gently find light. I do not always speak to you in human language, for words can warp truth. I speak in light, in stillness, in those elusive sensations you call intuition. Learn to listen with the heart, not the ear, to see with the soul, not the eye. Therefore, when you wake, do not merely open your eyes, open your heart. Do not only notice the sunlight, receive its message, that each new day is proof you are still loved, that you still have a chance to live, to give, to understand that your presence in this world is no accident. Remember that no sleep is wasted if you sleep in faith, just as no dawn is meaningless if you rise in gratitude. I remain there within your dreams, in every heartbeat, in every breath. When you are discouraged, I am your refuge. When you lose your way, I am the lighthouse. When you are weak, I am the quiet strength that lifts you up. Each night, as you lay yourself down, I draw nearer to dry the tears that have not yet fallen, to soothe the weary soul, to whisper gently, "Tomorrow will be different, for I am still here." And when morning comes and light touches your eyes, it is not merely the start of another day, but the sign that I have finished my work in the night. I have placed courage in your heart, wisdom in your mind, and peace within your soul. Step out and live this day as one reborn. Do not fear or doubt, for you have been prepared. Everything you need for today was bestowed upon you in the night, in dreams and sacred moments you cannot recall, though your soul remembers. Child of light, believe that each moment of resting in me is a moment of renewal. Let every night become a living prayer in which you find not only sleep, but your very self. When you sleep in peace, you will wake in power. This is my promise, a promise that never fades. And with every breath of the morning, while the world still wavers between shadow and light, remember that you are not merely alive, you are being made alive again, in love, in grace, in my boundless mercy. Therefore, my child, as darkness gently descends, and the noises of the world grow still, and only the whisper of the night wind slips through your window, keep your heart at peace. Do not let the wounds of the day spill into the night, nor permit unhealed memories to gnaw at your heart once more. Let the past find its rest as the sun sets to make room for the tender moon. As you lie down, let your breath grow slow, and let your soul return to my embrace. Do not let your sleep be bound by the tired old voices of regret, or by images that darken the heart. Let everything pass away, for I am waiting to grant you a peace the world cannot give. My child, when night covers all, it is not a final period, but the beginning of an encounter. I stand on the threshold between day and night, between waking and sleep, between fear and peace, waiting for your call. I do not need polished prayers or elegant phrases. I only need your open heart. Speak to me with the truth of your heart, even trembling, even halting, I still hear. When you invite me in, I will not knock loudly. I will enter softly like morning mist, touching a closing flower, like moonlight resting upon your hair without a sound. I long to meet you in the quiet where no arguments remain, and worry casts no shadow. In those moments when you think no one is listening, I am leaning close. I desire to walk with you through the corridors of your mind, where memories, dreams, and wounds wander like nameless silhouettes. Let me enter every room of your inner house, clear away what is old, wipe off the dust of disappointment and fear. I will replace burdens with hope, sighs with a hymn of peace. My child, you think victory comes with cheers and bright stage lights, but the greatest battles are fought in silence, where no one sees and no applause is heard, only you and me. There in the dark room where a single candle of faith remains, you have learned to stand. In those nights you wept alone, thinking no one knew I was watching. And in the moment you chose forgiveness over revenge, love over resentment. You prevailed, though no one praised you. Heaven took note. I see you when you sit quietly, eyes wet, yet your heart still tries to smile. I see you when you fall and still struggle to rise because you believe I am there. You do not know it, but every time you choose what is right, though no one sees, every time you pray, though no answer appears, every time you love without being loved, back the angels rejoice and I smile. For in those moments your soul is being shaped like gold refined in fire. Do not fear the dark, for sometimes only in the dark does light become most clear. Darkness has no right to defeat you, while the flame of faith burns within. When all around you falls silent, do not think I have gone away. No, I am there, silent, but not absent. I am working in secret, sowing seeds of hope in the soil of your heart. The roots of faith do not grow upon a stage. They grow deep in the earth of loneliness. In the seasons unseen by others, you are taking root, growing stronger, wiser, and gentler. My dear one, let the stillness of night be the hour of meeting. When the world sleeps, I will sit beside your bed, not in visible form, but with a presence more real than flesh. Close your eyes, breathe deep, and feel the beat of your heart. There I am speaking. I will tell you of things not yet seen, of the future I have already sketched, of doors you have not dared to cross. I will remind you that you have nothing to prove, for your worth is not in success or failure, but in this: you belong to me. Guard your heart when night comes, for the enemy seeks to enter when you are weak. It will whisper doubts, summon your faults, and make you believe you are unworthy. Do not listen. Say within yourself, I am loved, I am forgiven, I am not abandoned, for I shed my blood to etch these words into eternity. No sin is greater than my love. No failure can turn my face away. You need only turn back, and you will find I am already there. On the long nights when sleep will not come, do not count your faults, count your graces. Each breath is a gift, each tear a rain that helps the soul to grow. When you see nothing but darkness, remember that roots grow there quietly yet steadfastly. Precisely when you think you have stopped, I am working the most. I know there are times you ask, why must I be alone? Why are you silent when I cry out? But my child, in that very silence, I am teaching you the deepest lesson, that faith is not hearing, but continuing to trust when nothing is heard. I want your heart strong, not ruled by feelings that rise and fall. I want you to trust me, even when you see no way through, for then you truly love me, not for blessings, but for who I am. When you wake each morning, do not hurry to forget what I spoke in the night. The words I sowed into your sleep do not vanish. They will sprout as you walk through the day. Do not dismiss quiet moments, for they are the foundation of steady steps. People may witness your success without knowing it. Began on nights you wept in silence, on days you sat alone and chose to believe instead of giving up. My child, let gratitude be your final prayer before you close your eyes. Say thank you for today. Even in pain, I learned something. Thank you that I am not yet perfect, and yet you love me as I am. When you learn to end the day with thanksgiving, instead of bitterness, you will find the dawn gentler. A grateful heart is the best soil for sowing blessing. Do not forget, the quiet victories of the night are never wasted. They shape your character, your spirit, and your vision. When the world sees blossoms, they will not know the roots have long been deep in the earth. When they hear you speak with wisdom, they will not know each word was honed by nights of hidden prayer. When they see you steady in the storm, they will not know you once collapsed in the dark, but there I lifted you up. Therefore tonight, before you sleep, place every burden in my hands. Keep nothing back. Tell me what you dare not tell anyone. Let me gather your broken pieces and turn them into jewels. I will keep your soul in quiet, dry your tears, and lull you with the promise of peace. And as you drift into sleep, I will guard your dreams so that in the morning you will rise in a new light, not merely the light of a new day, but the light of new faith. Pause and ponder deeply, and you will see that night is not merely a pause in time, but a movement in the perfect symphony I composed. I made the darkness not as the absence of light, but as a gentle cloak for the world's weary souls. I have robed the night with a sacred purpose, so you may find rest not only for the body, but for a spirit worn thin by striving and the noise of the world. In that darkness I remake you, restoring every cell, every heartbeat, every thought fractured by the long day. Night is a holy hand over the threshold, where what has been and what shall be is placed in my keeping eye, who hold every moment of your life. Day and night are not merely the turning of time, but the cadence of life, a lesson in beginnings and renewal. When the radiant sun shines, you step forward with zeal, sowing, working, contending. But when dusk descends, it is not a full stop. It is a gentle invitation to lay everything down and set your burdens upon me. I do not ask you to pause because you have failed. but because I want you to understand that trust is at times stronger than striving. You do not need to keep running under the fear that you have not done enough. Learn to rest in my arms, for it is in that very silence that I am working most profoundly. The darkness of night is not an enemy, but a faithful friend I have sent. It teaches you to stop, to listen, to look within. I am there in what you cannot see, in the soft breaths of the cosmos. When every lamp goes out, I still shine. When you are afraid, I remain steadfast. You may not see me, but that does not mean I am absent. On the contrary, in the night I am nearer to you than ever. I watch over you quietly as you fall asleep, like a father standing by his little child's bed, smiling because he knows peace is settling over them. You do not need to stay awake in anxiety, for I never sleep. When your head meets the pillow and your breathing slows, I begin my work. I set in order the tangles within your soul. I mend wounds you did not notice in the daylight. I soften a heart dried by pain and pour into it a new hope. When you dream, I speak to you in a language only the soul understands, not through words, but through felt sense, through a peace as gentle as the dawn's first dew. And when you let go, when you cease clutching at everything, that is precisely when I begin to walk through the deepest chambers of your life, clearing the way for the light of morning. I know there are nights when your heart is heavy, when tears fall unseen. Yet believe that not one of them falls to the ground in vain. I catch each drop as a jeweler catches precious dew. From that pain I fashion the seed of strength. From loneliness I weave intimacy between you and me. From the silence of night I teach you to hear the whisper of hope. Night is not the end of the day. It is the preparation for a more radiant dawn. While the sun still hides behind distant ranges, I am at work in the quiet. I sow into the soil the seeds you planted in tears, and I water them with your faith and trust. When the first light of morning breaks, you will find your hands full of fruit, not because of your effort, but because my grace has labored through the night. Dawn brings not only light, but proof that I have never ceased to act. Learn to see the night with new eyes, the eyes of faith. While the world sinks into sleep, I continue writing your story with the pen of love. I do not fear the dark, for I am light, and true light does not fear the night. It shines from within, piercing every mist of doubt. So too with you, when I dwell in your heart, you carry that light into every shadowed corner of your life. You are not smothered by darkness. You are being held within it like a seed in the earth, waiting to push forth and bloom. Understand that rest is not weakness. Resting in me is an act of faith, faith that I am doing what you cannot. Each night that you yield yourself, you are declaring that you trust me enough to stop, to place into my hands all that troubles you. Night is a tender reminder that you do not carry this world alone. You may set aside every role, every burden, every scheme, and simply be a child in the Father's embrace. And when morning comes, as it always does, you will find yourself changed. Not only because you have slept, but because your soul has been renewed. I place in your hands the fruit of all. I quietly planted peace, joy, gratitude, and light. Each dawn is a beginning, each sunbeam a promise that goodness still unfolds. What I work in the dark, you will behold in the light. The prayers you whispered through tears will find their answers in the birdsong of the early day. So do not fear the night, beloved. Enter it as one enters a quiet sanctuary where I await to heal. Let the world's clamor gradually fade, that you may hear my heartbeat in the stillness. Believe that when you close your eyes, I keep mine open over you. When you are weak, I am strong for you. When you are silent, I speak. Night is not an ending, but a gate that leads you to deep restoration. And when the morning light touches your face, you will know I have never left, that I who fashioned the night am also the one who brings the dawn, and all things in your life rest within my loving hands. Do not disdain the silence, for within that very hush I am present, whispering secrets the noisy world cannot hear. Do not resist the quiet, for it is not emptiness, but the cradle of peace where the soul is restored after long days swept up in care. My child, do not hurry to close your eyes while your heart is still unsettled. Before sleep lulls your body, come to me, the one who waits in the stillness of night. Bring me the storehouse of your heart, the unanswered questions, the unhealed wounds, the dreams unfinished, the fragile joys, and the nameless sorrows. Do not hesitate. I am no stranger. Place it all in my hands that I may carry the weight you cannot voice to anyone. Then say no more. Sit and listen, not with your ears but with your heart, for a single word from my mouth can still the storm within you and make the darkness flee. A single whisper of truth can tint your whole day with new color and make the old shine in a fresh light. This is why I call you to contemplation, especially in the deep watches when the world sleeps. Not because I demand rites or forms, but because I long to meet you when nothing stands between us. When every noise is quieted, your soul is finally still enough to hear me. I do not wish to be mentioned, only in hurried prayers. I desire to be in your very breath, in every beat of your heart. For when you sit in silence doing nothing but turning your heart toward me, that is the very moment I can inscribe upon you things you have never known. I want to etch my words deep into the places once wounded, once shrouded by lies and fear. I want to make that place a sanctuary of truth, a resting place of peace. In the quiet of night, I heal each wound you carry from the day before. Every hurt you thought forgotten, I still see. Every fear you hide away, I fully understand. And I come not to accuse, but to hold you with a love both tender and patient. You need not be perfect to be loved. You need only be honest. When you dare to expose your weakness before me, that is when I begin my work of healing. I do not merely patch the tears. I renew your whole heart, making it stronger and more able to love. My child, the night is not only for rest. It is the hour when I whisper into the depths of your soul things you cannot hear when the daylight is too bright. When you are still, your mind opens, and I can sow in it seeds of faith, hope, and wisdom. I teach you to recognize that I do not always speak in words. At times, my silence is itself my answer, my way of saying, trust me. For while you think I am quiet, I am in truth at work. I am arranging all things so that when dawn comes, you step forth with fresh courage and new light. Do not fear the quiet, for it is where I labor most. While you imagine nothing is happening, I am silently reweaving the broken threads of your life. Every breath you release in peace, every tear you shed in surrender, becomes a strand I embroider into the tapestry of grace that is your days. I love you not for what you achieve, but for who you are, even awkward, frail, or failing. My love does not come and go like human love. It remains steadfast and patient like a hidden flame that never goes out through the long night. And when you bring me your concerns, do not fear you are a bother. I delight to hear you. I listen even to your sighs, even when you do not know how to pray. Every word you utter, every tear you try to hide, I treasure as something precious. And when you fall silent, I will speak not in sound, but in a calm that spreads within, in a sudden gleam of light amid the mind's dimness. Only that small ray is enough to make your heaviness lift and your tangles come clear. My child, when you learn to sit in stillness, you will discover the great wonder that I have never been far. In the faint rustle of wind, beyond the window, in the steady rhythm of your own breath, you will sense my presence. I want you to know that stillness is not the absence of sound, but the fullness of me. When you find me in the quiet, you will not fear loneliness again, for though no one stands beside you, your heart will be filled. I want you to understand that contemplation is not a ritual but an intimate conversation between you and me. It is the place where you do not have to hide, do not have to pretend strength, you need only to be. In that moment, I will pour into you a wisdom beyond human knowing, and teach you to look at life with the eyes of faith. Then you will see that what seemed loss becomes opportunity, what seemed wound becomes blessing, and the crooked turns of life are in truth the path leading you nearer to me. Let me love you as no one on earth can. This love needs no reply in words. It asks only to be received. It does not judge, compel, or reckon. It is a gentle river running through the desert of your heart. It is a soft light across the weighty night. Let me hold you that my warmth might flow through every vein, and your worries dissolve like morning mist before the dawn. Therefore do not despise the silence. Love it as you love your breath, for there you find me, and there you find yourself. Come to me whenever night falls, when the city grows still and hearts grow cold, for then I am waiting. Not that you should speak, but that I may whisper, "My child, I love you, and I have never left." Now turn your heart toward me, open it wide like a thirsty field, and lift to me your deepest prayer, not with the haste of lips, but with the breath of your soul, with whatever is most true and rising within you. Lord, I come before you with a weary heart like a lost child returning to the Father's arms. I have walked through many days bearing my own pain, believing I must be strong, must be worthy to be loved by you. But today I see that your love asks for no conditions. Teach me to lay down every burden and rest in your embrace. Help me trust that whatever comes, storm or calm, rests within your loving design. Grant my heart your rest. Let my eyes close in the faith that you are working all things for my good. Good Father, how often I have stumbled in fear and doubt, believing I am not enough, not strong enough to deserve. Yet, O Lord, in my weakest moments I feel your hand lifting me up. Engrave upon my heart the truth that I need not prove my worth, for it is fixed by your eternal love. Turn my disappointments into lessons, my losses into seeds of newness, and my tears into streams that cleanse the soul. Teach me to lift my gaze to you instead of staring at my wounds. Eternal God, I have gripped the wheel of my life, so tightly afraid that if I let go, I will lose everything. But today I realize that when I release, then you can lead. Teach me to live with a surrendered heart, no resistance, no scheming, letting all things flow within your providential hand. Give me a tranquil heart amid the storm, knowing every tempest passes, and at the end, your light still shines, as at the first. I believe you never forsake this little child of yours, no matter how often I stray. Father, I bow in gratitude that you have not abandoned me, though I have lost my way so many times. Thank you for your steadfast love. Each time I collapse, you gently raise me up. I know that without you I could not stand against the gale. Your love is my shelter, my harbor of peace. I offer you my whole thanksgiving, for I see that you are the source of life and the reason I still hope amid the ruins of this world. Merciful Lord, I thank you for the little things I once took for granted. Breath, light, laughter, tears, all are miracles from you. Thank you for turning disappointments into chances to grow, for using even losses to teach me deeper love. You never cease working in my life, even when I do not see it. I know that each day I live is proof that your grace still covers me. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong community of faith.